tense of darkness, like the curtains of Shlomo. Do not see me that I am blackened, for the sun has scorched me. The sons of my mother have caused anger against me. They placed me as a guard over the vineyards. My vineyard I did not guard. What does it mean I'm black? What does it mean I'm beautiful? She's trying to get away from the blackness. We're not saying anything that if a person has dark skin that there's anything wrong with that. That is not what's being said over here at all. Please don't understand it that way. What she means is that my dark appearance is on account of whatever her complexion might be. It doesn't matter. But more than my natural complexion, I have been further darkened. Something happened to me that caused me to become scorched. So I am black, but this conjunction of doesn't have to mean and in Hebrew. It could also mean but. I'm black, but I'm truly beautiful. Who's she speaking to? The daughters of Jerusalem. The daughters of Jerusalem are the nations of the world. God has promised the Jewish people that ultimately when God's kingdom is restored to the earth, the nations also come to Jerusalem to serve God. These are the daughters of Jerusalem. They're being called after what will be in the future. And she says, even though I look bad now, I'm not bad. I'm actually really good. Like the tents of darkness. What are the tents of darkness? Tents that are spread out and they get rained on. We know all about this in Seattle. What happens? They become dark. They get blackened. They get like mold. The fabric isn't black, but because of the elements, because of outside and external effects and events and circumstances, they become black. What happens with that? You can bleach it clean. You can get those stains out. And when you get those stains out, it will be like the curtains of Shlomo, meaning like the curtains of the temple. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're designer. They're made of the finest materials and colors and designs. That's who I really am. I'm beautiful. It's just that I've been covered by a blackness. Underneath it all, I'm really sterling. I'm sparkling. So don't see me that I'm black. I've just been scorched by the sun. The sons of my mother caused this to happen to me. Who are the sons of my mother? The mother of the Jewish nation is Egypt, because that's where the Jewish nation incubated. Yaakov and his family came down as a small group. They grew and they multiplied and they multiplied. Like a fetus in the womb starts as a small clump of cells, really just one, turns into a clump, multiplies till they...
I want to give all the praises and the honor to YAHAWAH, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, RAWCHAA, QADASH, and double honors to the elder apostles and even the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow followers and believers of this faith, even you few sisters, and shalom to the elect, shalom to the hopefully elect. So anyway, I wasn't going to do a video on this. I went over this. I saw this video like a month ago, but he left some comments, so I said, well, I'll do a video. And then I'm going to actually read the comments, right, and show you that people lack the understanding of words, what it actually mean. And even we had to get a little sharper. Us at Great Millstone, we've over the years got sharper on the words, because that's what we were taught as well, to look up these words. Now, it's kind of crazy that before we knew we were Hebrew Israelites, this is titled, Were the Israelites Black? Black Hebrew Israelites in the Bible. So that is a issue right there in the titling, because if it doesn't matter the skin color, why are they titling it that? Are they titling it this because they don't want us to accept or believe that the Israelites were black, or are they trying to push the narrative that the Israelites were red because nobody's white? What I also find crazy is when I was younger and I opened the pages of the Bible and I saw all the white images, right? Even before I came into the truth, you Googled all the images of Jeremiah, the prophets, Isaiah, they're all white. But nobody had questions like this, are they white? That's the sick part of white supremacy. Where was the questions and trying to go into the historical proof that the Israelites, it didn't matter what color they were? What they're doing in a video like this is trying to prove that they're white and not so-called black. But I'll read a couple comments. Before I go on, I'll read Job 30 and 30, okay? And they'll say that this has nothing to do with skin color, but a condition. But it says, my skin grows black upon me. It says, my skin grows black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat, right? So they'll say this has nothing to do with skin color because it says the skin is black. But yet the white verses, they'll say, well, yeah, he couldn't have looked black because the white verses said that they were white. But when you look closer, right, let's say this was a condition where a white person's skin, well, that's not going to happen where their skin is going to grow black unless they literally catch on fire and turn to ash. So we know that ain't the case. Show me some so-called white person whose skin that just turned completely black. The only way that's going to happen is somebody who is in a so-called black person who's in a condition of being black, right? But anyway, I'm going to go, you know, it's kind of crazy how they push this supremacy, and they push it hard. And the fact that we have now woken up to who we are. And you notice this guy in the video when he said that when it came into her blackness, this is what he said, that it doesn't matter what the complexion was, that she would have turned dark. But as I said earlier, there's no way you would be white or Caucasian, right, of that complexion of reddish, red, and turn black. Doesn't happen. Anyway, he also goes and talk about the nations. Zion represents all the nations. They got to flow unto Jerusalem. But what happened before a particular time, the 48ers? What happened before that? Who was there then? That's crazy. So since they came there at that particular time, why didn't the other nations come with them? And you know what these people will say? They'll say that it was a desolate land and nobody knew what they were doing. They were all pretty much wicked. This is the same thing they said about the Native Americans in America. This is the same thing they said about South America. This is the same thing they said about Europe, right? And everywhere else on the planet. Only their technology and only their existence matters. Everybody else's doesn't. But anyway, let's read a couple of comments on this video that it was very disturbing. One that I think I saw. Somebody put on here, they believe Mary was a Negro and the Most High chose her. Yeah, she was, so-called. And her father was too, her earthly father, Joseph. He said, I said nothing about Jesus, nor would I. Christianity is sadly a form of idolatry and has no relationship with the truth. So why are these people running around talking about, and even our people as so-called black Christians run around and saying that they are the chosen? Okay. When you look at a lot of things, the one you call Jesus, YAHAWASHI, said, he was saying the same things that was in the Old Testament for the most part. But he came to die for the nation of Israel. Well, when you really look at the pictures, the true history, historical facts, and the pictures, you'll see why the tribe of Judah, where he sprang out of, you'll see why nobody wants to accept him. Anyway, I'm gonna read a disturbing one that I saw. It says, why don't you explain that Solomon is described as white and ruddy? His cheeks is as a bed of spices, washed with milk, and a body of polished ivory overlaid with sapphires, which means his skin was so translucent that you saw the blue veins showing through it, which in their complexion it would be more greenish. But this is sick, and it says that could not be a black man. And this is why we're going to go into further in this lesson to show you why words matter and understanding the matter. And also we understand universalism and how they perceive things to be according to translation and text. So let's go to the old text. Let's go to one of 1 Samuel 16 and 12 in the Bible. That looks like the 1400s or something like that. It says, then sent he, and cause he had brought, and he was well colored with fair eyes and beautiful countenance. Right? So this script, what translation? This is the Bible of 1535. And it's got a picture of a white man on here who's even putting on here that his complexion was well colored. He was well colored. Who did they call us, and what did they call us when we came over here into slavery? Did they not call us colored? Because if we were colored, then that means they wasn't. So anyway, we're going to go to Psalm of Solomon 5 and 13, because there was a question when I said what ruddy meant. He said his cheeks was as a bit of spices and sweet flowers, right? When you look up the bed of spices, that goes back to the word balsam or balm, right? Which means Aramaic balsama or busma, balsam, right? A balm, spice. And we all know the spices come from the ground, what it looks like. But then, again, this is white supremacy trying to inflict their doctrine to make, try to do damage control, right? So when we go to 1 Samuel 2, we'll read a couple of translations. We go to NIV, the International Standard Version. So now when we understand ruddy just means beautiful to look upon. That's all it really means. And what would it mean to be beautiful to look upon? Not some Dracula-looking person, man. That's all ruddy really means. Like a black person with brownish complexion, because we come of all different shades. Myself, I can turn red. If I smack my own chest or rub my arms, I'll turn like a reddish ruddy. And then he says, well, then as Esau too. Well, Genesis 25 and 25 never said ruddy, because that would have meant beautiful. And although we would have known exactly what it meant if they did put that there, along with the many other contradictions and mess ups, typos that they had. Right? Anyway, the ISV says, so he sent and brought him. He had a dark and healthy complexion. We talking about Samuel here, right? With beautiful eyes, and was handsome. So he would have been like what they would have called a pretty boy. Not the pretty boy today, but someone who was handsome and good to look upon. This is before the slavery, when you was real light-skinned, you was beautiful, because you could have been dark and beautiful, as he was going into. The Lord said it, get up and anoint him, for he is one. Right? So we saw the same thing, and it says here, okay, the Coverdale Bible, then Cindy calls him, brought, and he was colored with fair eyes. So when you look up ruddy, all the other translations, God's Word translation says he had a healthy complexion and attractive eyes. Like, see, they switched everything, because kings and certain men, they had certain situations. You had a scratch. You wanted to look so-called beautiful, not the beautiful that you see today. It's all gone to the Queen of Heaven now. Okay? Just wanted to say that. Let's see if there's more in these comments. I actually left a comment and said that is sick, but it never posted. White meant purity, and ruddy simply meant healthy complexion. He says, so you're saying Esau had a healthy complexion? Nope, because it never said ruddy when you go into the text. But the outlining of it never said ruddy. When you go into the translations, that was never talking about him being healthy, because there was no way he was healthy. No way he had a healthy complexion. Hell, you got babies come out that might be light-skinned, that complexions don't look fully healthy until they get it together. Let's go on down here. Black Hebrew Israelites are saying, whatever. Somebody put on here, there's thousands of images, pictures, and statues of black Egyptians, Hebrews, in a British museum around the world. He goes on to say, many BHI use Egyptian artworks as black passports, but unfortunately these images are associated with the kingdom of Cush, the Nubians, or by the Greek. See how they just made that up? What they're saying, what this man is saying, only white images matter. That's all he's saying. And let's say it was but from the kingdom of Cush, the Egyptians and the Nubians and the Greeks, the black Greeks. Does it still make them false? So, and if that was the case, why did they come with iconoclasm, which means image destruction, and destroy those images and paint them white? If the images of the people of the Bible were already white, why did they have to destroy them and make them white? That's the question I have. And then I went into Phineas. See, they're going to have an excuse. They're going to have an excuse. Now they're saying it was from the kingdom of Cush why these images were made. Right. But then the Renaissance, when they came into power, then they whitewashed all the old images and made the images white. Now, why didn't they originally have their own white images? This goes back to what I was saying before. As long as the images were white and we had it stuck in our head, it was all right. And as long as now we're saying this is not true, let us have our images of what we believe him to be or which we know him to be, you have a problem with it. What is the problem with us saying the biblical Israelites were black, so-called black, that the Messiah was black, that the Most High had hair of wool? What is the problem with that? You don't want us to believe that. But it was all good and okay when you wanted us to believe what you wanted us to believe and what he looked like. That's the sickness and the racism that you have. You Edoms. You have it. Let's go here. It says, I always read this. It says, somebody said, as a writer, I was curious to the meaning of the name Phineas, right? Who was the son of Eleazar, the grandson of Aaron. In the Easton's 1897 Bible Dictionary says the mouth of brass from the old Egypt, and he never answered this, from old Egypt, the Negro, the son of Eleazar, the high priest. Wait a minute. Now, this is not some painting from the kingdom of Cush. Why did it say Phineas? And I asked a couple of them that came up to our camp that tried to fight with that. It's all messed up when we pull out the truth. If you're trying to keep the white lie of the white images, why didn't they exist before the black images? Right? Phineas means the mouth of brass Egyptian Negro. So if he was a Negro, where the hell did all the other white people come from? What's up with that? Still haven't heard an answer from him. I guess he's trying to do extra damage control. But anyway, I just wanted to do this video to expose the hypocrisy and the sickness of white supremacy. And how as long as white Jesus exists, white God exists, white prophets exist, there was no fight to say, hey, the color doesn't matter. But now all of a sudden, there's a big fight. There's a big argument. You won't allow us, you won't let the Israelites go. He won't let my people go. That's all I have on that. Shalom.